Are you ready for flight?
Yes.
Yeah.
Brittney Griner appeared to call Caitlin Clark trash and effing.
She's fourth in the league in MVP voting.
Brittney Griner, who was imprisoned in Russia, in a man's prison.
Brittney Griner has two of the worst, dumbest fouls I've ever seen in basketball.
Brittney Griner, who I can't stand, sad that she's a Baylor grad.
She's the Rookie of the Year.
Brittney Griner elbowing Caitlin Clark in a crazy way and then calling her a trash white girl.
That's not a woman. That's not a female. That's not even a trans person. That is a man. Like, that's a legit biological man.
Brittney Griner is, in fact, a man.
Something truly unexpected unfolded on the WNBA court, leaving fans across the nation in disbelief. Just 2 minutes into the Indiana Fever versus Atlanta Dream matchup, all attention was fixed on Brittney Griner. But instead of displaying her trademark dominance, Griner committed two of the most baffling fouls in recent memory, one of which was a blatant elbow to Aaliyah Boston's neck. There was no injury, no explanation, just two reckless plays that led to Griner spending nearly the entire game on the bench.
Brittney Griner has two of the worst, dumbest fouls I've ever seen in basketball. I mean, it's just, they look like intentional fouls, particularly the second one. She basically elbowed Aaliyah Boston in the neck for no reason. 2 minutes into the game.
That's right, amid mounting backlash, escalating racial tensions, and a league on the brink of chaos, the WNBA has made a move no one saw coming. And as for Brittney Griner, let's just say her reaction speaks volumes.
Brittney Griner voiced frustration in a recent interview, claiming that Caitlin Clark is ruining what used to make the WNBA great. Wait for this.
Empty stands?
Tom, let me just...
Go ahead, I'm so mad.
WNBA games used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now, it's like there's a large gathering of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score like we're there for their entertainment, and that's pretty gross.
The WNBA was shaken by a major controversy involving one of its biggest stars, Brittney Griner. She is facing intense backlash after a viral video showed her delivering a brutal elbow to Caitlin Clark during a game. Even more disturbing is the alleged use of a racial slur during the incident, which has ignited widespread outrage among fans. But what's unfolding now goes beyond just the physical altercation. It's turning into something much bigger.
Brittney Griner elbowing Caitlin Clark in a crazy way and then calling her a trash white girl.
And Brittney Griner has not commented, which I find significant. I've watched that video countless times, and it sure looks like Brittney Griner says, fucking white girl.
Brittney Griner appeared to call Caitlin Clark trash and effing white girl.
Panic is rippling through the league, and Brittney Griner's name is dominating headlines for reasons no one anticipated. What's really happening behind the scenes? Why the sudden media silence? And how does Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise factor into this growing storm? Stay tuned, because this story is far from over, and it's about to get even wilder.
There was nothing mentioned about Brittney being in a male prison. I wonder why. Are they trying to withhold this information for any particular reason? I mean, that's what I would assume, right? But you can really only find evidence of it in passing. It's literally just mentioned in passing in a bunch of articles, but no one really hones in on it. Now, if this was actually a woman who was put in a male Russian prison, one would think that there would be entire articles dedicated to this, an entire Netflix series, honestly, in today's social justice world, right?
Yeah. Despite the racial undertones of the slur and the viral outrage that followed, the WNBA remained silent. No fine, no suspension, not even a public statement. The very league that proudly champions no space for hate turned a blind eye to what many are calling a racially charged, hate-fueled attack, all broadcast live for the world to see. Caitlin Clark, now the face of the league and the driving force behind its record-breaking viewership, wasn't targeted for dirty play. She was targeted for greatness, for being a white rookie shaking up the established order. She's been shoved, elbowed, and ridiculed on the court again and again, and every time she takes it in stride. without complaint.
I showed the video to my coworker and I asked him, hey, do you know this person? Do you know who this is? And he said, no, I don't know who this guy is. Which is funny because me and him were discussing Brittney Griner, and he was defending Brittney Griner and saying that she should be released. And he was shocked that that was indeed the Brittney Griner, because it was definitely a man.
The tension had been building for weeks, but it all came to a head when Brittney Griner delivered a forceful elbow to Caitlin Clark during a heated game. Cameras captured the moment, but what followed was even more disturbing. As Griner walked off the court, she was clearly seen mouthing the words "trash f***ing white girl." Lip readers, fans, and analysts alike confirm what was said. This wasn't subtle, it was clear, intentional, and deeply offensive, igniting outrage across the sports world.
The WNBA has come out numerous times. There's no place for hate. There's no place for racism.
Let's see an investigation into reverse racism that's going on across the league also.
At first, the world saw her as a political pawn, but recently that narrative has taken a sharp turn. Old interviews resurfaced. Her deep voice, her physical frame, the way she carried herself all reignited the long-standing whispers online. And for some, it was no longer just about her arrest. It became a question of identity. What really got her in trouble in Russia? Was it the drugs or something else entirely?
Brittney Griner has two of the worst, dumbest fouls I've ever seen in basketball. I mean, it's just, they look like intentional fouls, particularly the second one. She basically elbowed Aaliyah Boston in the neck for no reason.
At first, the world viewed her as a political pawn, a symbol caught in the crossfire of international tensions. But lately, that narrative has taken a dramatic turn. Old interviews have resurfaced, and suddenly, her deep voice, powerful build, and commanding presence have reignited long-standing whispers online. For many, the conversation has shifted. It's no longer just about her arrest in Russia, it's about identity. What really landed her in trouble overseas? Was it the drugs, or was there something deeper, more complex, fueling the controversy all along?
Brittney Griner, who I can't stand, sad that she's a Baylor grad.
Yeah,
she called her a trash, expletive white girl. That was the lip reading. Yes, trash, white girl. Trash, blinking white girl is what she says.
Then came the bombshell reports and online discussions suggesting that Brittney Griner may not have been held in a women's facility during her time in Russia, but instead in a male prison. A stunning and deeply unsettling claim, one that many believe would have triggered global outrage had it involved any other woman. Yet curiously, mainstream media barely touched it. A few brief mentions in scattered articles, but no deep dives, no definitive answers. And that silence? It's only fueling more questions, more suspicion, and a growing sense that the full story has yet to be told.
WNBA crew are very fond of virtue signaling, but even when it comes to Brittney's exchange for like the Merchant of Death, which is insane, by the way, but had that been just like a straight white girl, my guess is that straight white girl would probably still be rotting in a Russian prison.
On a night when fans expected fierce competition, Brittney Griner delivered confusion instead. Just 2 minutes into the Indiana Fever versus Atlanta Dream matchup, she stunned everyone with two of the most inexplicable fouls seen in professional basketball. The second, utterly unnecessary, a blatant elbow to Aaliyah Boston's neck with no clear provocation or purpose.
The noise that's coming.
I don't appreciate the new fans that sit there and yell racial slurs at myself, my teammates, and the people that I play against, because yeah, those might be opponents, but those are friends too. You know, they don't deserve that. So I don't appreciate the new fans that think it's okay to do that.
That wasn't the only thing drawing attention. Brittney Griner's deep voice, visible Adam's apple, muscular frame, and dominant presence on the court have reignited long-standing speculation about her biological identity. And this time, the conversation isn't confined to obscure corners of the internet commentators. Fans and even some in the sports media are beginning to raise uncomfortable questions. Is Brittney Griner biologically male? One viral and unverified anonymous post went even further, alleging that Griner is not transgender, but a biological male raised as a girl by a controlling parent. According to the post, the claim is that Griner's mother forced him to live as female and enter girls' sports from a young age. A supposed deception that allowed Griner to eventually compete in the WNBA under false pretenses.
That this person is not a female. Firstly, because this was actually posted to Brittney's personal Instagram. And when it comes to Instagram, they use a combination of like AI detection and plus manual surveyors, but specifically the AI detection to make sure that no explicit content ends up on the platform. So clearly whatever AI detection system was used when Brittney posted this and it stayed up for 106 weeks was not like, oh, this is a bare female chest, we have to take this down. It obviously assumed that Brittney was male. And
comment sections across social media exploded, filled with voices echoing the same uneasy questions. Had the public been misled? Was there more to Brittney Griner's identity than what had been publicly shared? For many, the conversation had moved beyond basketball or politics. It had become a matter of trust, transparency, and the pursuit of truth.
If you have that mindset that I'm entitled, that we're victims, that we're owed a debt, that we should be getting paid the same millions of dollars as men, that's a recipe for corruption.
As backlash over Brittney Griner's attack on Caitlin Clark intensified, an even more explosive storyline surged back into the spotlight, one that had quietly circulated for years, but can no longer be ignored. Fans are now demanding something the WNBA has never publicly addressed: gender testing. The catalyst? A topless video, originally posted to Griner's own Instagram account, recently resurfaced and ignited a firestorm on social media. In the clip, Griner appears shirtless, yet Instagram's AI and moderation systems, which automatically detect and remove female nudity, left the video untouched for over 100 weeks. Why? Many claim the platform's algorithms interpreted her torso as male. No visible breast tissue, no surgical scars, no signs of transition, just a flat, muscular chest. The resurfaced footage has reignited long-standing speculation and forced difficult questions into the mainstream spotlight.
But what's really interesting about this, Kelly, we can flick over to the articles here, and we're not going to really hone in on any of these. I just have a couple of headlines, guys, because I wanted to show you that this is really the most information I could find about Brittney Griner being in a male prison, especially when it came to publications from different sports entities. There was nothing mentioned about Brittney being in a male prison. I wonder why. Are they trying to withhold this information for any particular reason? I mean, that's what I would assume, right? But you can really only find evidence of it in passing. It's literally just mentioned in passing in a bunch of articles, but no one really hones in on it. Now, if this was actually a woman who was put in a male Russian prison, one would think that there would be entire articles dedicated to this, an entire Netflix series, honestly, in today's social justice world, right?
Yeah. And when victimhood becomes the defining identity of a league, it opens the door to deeper problems, even corruption. From questionable on-court behavior to players mentally checking out mid-game, the warning signs are everywhere. When athletes see themselves not just as competitors, but as symbols of protest, when every foul, every substitution becomes a political statement, how long before it erodes the integrity of the game itself?
Brittney is a weird case. He's a man, yes, that much is obvious, but not in the way that you think. He isn't trans. He's a straight cis male who was raised as a girl and given a girl's name by his parents. His mother is the insane one. She forced him to live as a female right up through high school, filled out all of his paperwork, including BC as female, and kept the charade going.
As speculation around Brittney Griner continues to grow, the WNBA now finds itself under mounting pressure, and not just from fans. The controversy, intensified by Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise and the media spotlight she brings, has reignited long-standing debates about fairness in women's sports. Now there's increasing chatter that the league may be quietly exploring gender testing policies. While nothing has been officially confirmed, voices in the discussion are raising an important point. The WNBA has a responsibility to uphold fairness, especially for female athletes who have dedicated their lives to competing on a level playing field.
That she's sick of the fact. And then she says, the whole thing is toxic. I saw a guy with his daughter in the crowd, both of them yelling, couldn't hear what they were saying exactly, but it was either about my performance or some light racism, definitely one of the two.
Then came her most outspoken moment yet. Brittney Griner declared that the WNBA has become toxic. She recalled seeing a man and his young daughter yelling from the stands, suggesting their anger was either about her performance or fueled by racism. Her remarks didn't just stir the pot, they drew a clear line in the sand. In a league already showing signs of deep division, Griner made it unmistakably clear where she stands and where she believes the real problem lies.
And a lot of comments were supporting my idea as well. And that really made me wonder, was she detained in Russia was she really detained because of those drugs or whatever? Or was there some other reason?
This isn't just another controversy, it's a turning point. Fans are calling for transparency, accountability, and a renewed commitment to fairness. If the WNBA truly stands for protecting and advancing women's sports, it can no longer afford to ignore these questions. The integrity of the league and the trust of its supporters is now on the line. Brittney Griner's reckless fouls, the growing sense of entitlement within the league, and the escalating tensions surrounding Caitlin Clark are all converging to paint a deeply concerning picture for the WNBA.
Doesn't the WNBA have an onus of responsibility to be able to ensure that it's fair playership, though? I don't know if playership's a word, but you know what I'm saying?
Competition, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, for college sports and for the WNBA, too, 100%. I mean, I don't think it's ever okay for guys to be playing girl sports, but if this is true, then she was like the origin of this epidemic, and maybe it was like all planned, I guess, sensitized to some huge bitch playing with other.
But will we see the day where we see a woman in the NBA or a man in the WNBA claiming to be a woman?
What was once a celebration of athleticism and progress is now being overshadowed by division, controversy, and questions the league can no longer afford to ignore. Is this truly about fairness in women's sports, or is there something deeper at play? Watch the interviews, examine the facts, look beyond the headlines, and then decide for yourself. Brittney Griner is under pressure, and the WNBA has ignited a media firestorm with a potential gender-testing bombshell. The result? A league in turmoil and a future more uncertain than ever.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
That's nice.
And she was shooting the shit out of it.
Of course she was.
Right, so she was shooting the shit out of it. That she's sick of the fact. And then she says, the whole thing is toxic. I saw a guy with his daughter in the crowd, both of them yelling, couldn't hear what they were saying exactly, but it was either about my performance or some light racism, definitely one of the two.
This is great news for women's basketball, period.
So this is just my take on it. This is my conspiracy theory, if you wish. I have no proof of this.
They've put on hold Caitlin Clark's marketing Nike career and signature shoe to cater to Asia Wilson. It's all a flop.
Actually a man, a biological man.
The silence is growing louder, and the truth is getting harder to ignore. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you thought this was intense, just wait. What's coming next could change everything. Stay tuned.